So if you're in Blender and you're adding a primitive object, for my example, I'm using a cylinder, but this would work for any type of primitive object. You can change the topology early on, right when you make the object. So I'm going to give you an example of what I'm talking about. But first, I just want to point out I have in my overlays panel wireframe checked off right here. That allows me to see the wireframe even when the object is not selected. So this can be really helpful, especially for this example. So do that if you want to see your topology. And then we're going to go up to Add, Mesh, and then I'm going to go to Cylinder. But like I said, this would work for anything. And you'll notice right away you get this little box on the bottom left-hand side. This is what we need to work with. Don't click anything after you make that object. Go straight into that box. That's really important. This isn't like Maya where it remembers and you can make changes after you move stuff around. You can't make changes. You got to do it immediately. So I want this cylinder to be lower topology and I want the cap to look like the one on the left here. I basically want it to look like the one on the left. So I need to make some changes. And that is all available here in this operator panel. So this kind of panel will show up often. It remembers your last operation and allows you to make changes based on what that operation was. And since ours was making the cylinder, it's allowing us to change that cylinder. And right off the bat, I'm going to change the vertices number. That is also the faces number, so I can adjust that and I will see it become lower topology or higher topology depending on if that number goes up or down. I'm going to change it to 8. And you can see right away, much lower topology, but I still have a cap that is an n-gon and it doesn't have any edges, so I need to change the cap. And that is changeable under cap fill type. If I click that drop down and go to triangle fan, I get exactly what I want. And I like triangle fan just because it's easiest to cut up and make quads out of. I think it's pretty bad topology, but it's the easiest to make into good topology. So triangle fan it is. If you go to nothing, you'll have no cap, which can be helpful for other types of objects if you're making like a pipe or something. But triangle fan for me, that's it. That's all I need. So now I'm going to show you what happens when you click outside of that object. I clicked the one next to it and then I'm going back and it's gone. I cannot make any changes anymore. So now if I wanted more higher topology or something like that, I couldn't do it with this one without manually working on the object. I can't just change it with a click of a button. So I'm gonna move it to the side and just show you if I wanted to make a cylinder now with higher topology and I wanted that from scratch, I'd have to add a new one again and then change it now. So it'll remember your changes that you just made, which is convenient. So it made the exact same cylinder I had just made, and then I can change it accordingly and delete my old one. But that's kind of important to know. This is something you'll use all the time, and it's a bit different than Maya. So if you're used to using Maya, you have to get accustomed to this workflow. I hope this helped you guys. I've got a whole playlist on Blender, and thank you so much for watching.